Shri Gurubhyo Paramagurubhyo Srimadananda Tirtha Bhagavat Padacharyobbyo Namo Namaha Narayana Paripurna Gunarnavaya Visvodaya Stititolayan Niyati Prataya Jnana Prataya Vibuddha Sura Saukya Dukkha Satkaranaya Vidadaya Namo Namaste Yo Vipralimba Viparita Mati Prabodhan Vadan Rasya Kritavan Bhuvidatvavadam Sarvesvaro Haririti Pratipatakam Tam Anandatirthamunivaryam Namami Pujjaya Raghavendraya Satyadharmarataya Cha Pajatam Kalpavrikshaya Namatam Kamadhenave Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahaihi Tejasvina Vadidamastu Ma Vishvidavahaihi Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome friends, and we were talking about the Kathopanishad. Incidentally, we were talking about the great acharyas, whatever they have given it to us and all. Particularly this mantra, the last mantra and last but one mantra which we have dealt with last week. They are towards taking us to the highest philosophical sadhana, because sadhana is the one through which we will be able to transform the terrestrial experiences, what we have on a day-to-day basis, slowly progress towards the final, the transcendental experience, what we get. That is the intuition, what we have to finally get the divine knowledge or realization or the divine awareness, whatever we may call it. Because you will not be able to explain it. It is inexplicable. That is why the Upanishad itself has said yatho vacho nivartante, because that which cannot be described by the words, it goes beyond the words. So that is the sort of a fundamental thing we'll have to understand, because though we are talking about everything, we will not be able to experience anything like what we have experienced in the physical world, the terrestrial experience. The transcendental only will have to be more to be sort of felt, and you will not be able to explain that how you got the final realization, or whenever someone has got you will not be able to realize that is what the last two mantras have brought about. In that context, we will also be discussing about the great acharyas we have dealt with, like Vidyaranya, and then we will also be dealing with the Appaya Dikshitar was also mentioned by Kesavan. The other acharyas of contemporaries, how they have dealt with what was the wonderful, it was the golden period of Indian philosophical firmament, and I should say that at that point of time, the entire, because even a common person, had an average common person had more than the sort of, he was more than a sadhaka than what it is now. And most of them had awareness of what is that and what is beyond this life. They had some awareness, irrespective of the caste, creed, religion, and all. That is one of the finest period, because even the people from other walks of other religions, which has come from other parts of the world, even they were also having that conceptual thing. Because we should understand one thing, because all these Upanishads and all have gone to the Western world because of one person. That one person is Darashiko. Darashiko is Aurangzeb's brother. So he is a philosophical, he is a sort of a person, spiritual person. He took interest in Upanishads and all, because he had a great idea about Upanishads, being in the learned from all the Pandits and all. He translated in Persian. So the Persian is the first one which was available to the Western world, which has then been translated into Latin, and then from Latin, it went to French, and that's how the others got the knowledge of it. Because the root cause of entire Western knowledge of Indian philosophical firmament is through Darashiko. Ironically, he is the brother of Aurangzeb, who is supposed to have been very sort of a cruel and very sort of he's a sectarian and all those things and all. Likewise, great people have come from every walk of life. It's not one particular sect and all, because that entity was having that particular atmosphere, environment and all. In fact, that is what, because by knowing all these spiritual things and all, we will not be able to immediately be materializing something and transforming something and all, because basically the first thing we have to understand is The entire world has got the material consciousness and spiritual consciousness. As long as we are dealing with the material consciousness, because we are material world, we are in the material consciousness. We will have to work with that only. Slowly, when we find, because the utility of the material consciousness has gone beyond a certain extent, which is not able to answer your all your exploration inside Adhyatma. Only when you get into Adhyatma, the spiritual sort of a consciousness will come. Till such time, there is no possibility of spiritual consciousness has to come. Will not come because it has got no means of coming in. Just for the purpose of our own recollection, as quantum physics has brought about and the quantum theory has propounded. In fact, because even Einstein theory is being restated in the quantum terms. That means, because we are all 0.1% physical element of it. We have got 99.9% of the energy. Energy in the sense we are continuously having thoughts. Even thoughts are considered to be energy. Their thoughts are nothing but manifestation of energy, which is coming into each of us. Finally, first it comes as a perception. From the perception, it gets into the mode of thought, converts into thought, because more constantly you perceive and you just try to work on that. The perception becomes a source for the thought and it becomes the thought. So once a thought becomes, if it is a sort of a thought, in which you slowly get succumbed to the thought, it becomes a habit. So that is part of, what they call it subconscious. But most of the things which you do, without any effort, which you do just like that, because taking your morning, brushing your teeth or taking your coffee, or just go out for this, that, and all. Because all by habit, the habit has been formed by your subconscious mind, which has taken all these thoughts and converted into the habit. But when you take a specific efforts, why we are doing it? What is the purpose? Do we have anything at all? Because a lot of people do smoke. That is by habit. But now they know, because smoking is injurious to health, they will have to give it up. So when they have to give it up, because for their own welfare, the health, they have to take care of their health. So for that, they will have to work. Because like you are working for your body in a gym, you will have to work on your mind. Just how to get away from that, it has become an addiction. So detoxing, de-addicting, effort has to be, de-addiction effort has to be taken in. And slowly you have to work on, you will have to give up that habit. That when it comes, that is supposed to be part of your conscious mind. So consciously when you are doing it, consciously you are trying to work on the thoughts. So then automatically, because the thought, you just work on that, finally you try to sort of perfect and give up that habit. So giving up a habit is very, very difficult phenomena. It is almost impossible in most of the cases because it becomes so habit. Once it grains as a second way of life for you, you will not be able to give it up. That is why this meditation and because the getting into this adhyatma knowledge of discussing Upanishad scriptures and all those things, or even your pasuram, everything is helping you to transform yourself so that you try to have a meaningful way of life, so that you are always into the present. You are not taken in by something which is likely to happen later and all, because you are concentrating, you are able to concentrate. What happens is lot of these habits and other things, they are preventing you from concentrating on the present, so that you are not able to excel. Our job is now, we have been trained, we have been made, we have been manufactured to excel in whatever we are doing, but we are not able to do. How is it that? Because and each of us have got a different variety of way, because we may be excelling in something, we may not be able to excel in something else. So is each one of us. We have got our own USPs. We have got that. Why it happens? Because the same plant is producing hundreds of cars, but you find some cars, fail within 5 to 6 years. Some cars, they run for years, because even 20, 30 years, people are maintaining it. And how it happens? Because it's all coming from the same plant only. But how it has been used, how it has been handled, so many things. Likewise, the body has been given to us. How we are handling, how we are able to get through, so that we are able to concentrate on the 99.9% of our being, that is the energy component, the thoughts, and finally, how we can go about it. So it is nothing but to make the life wonderful, because we are supposed to be the happiness personified. Happiness personified in the sense, you will not be unagitated any point of time. You will not be disturbed. You will not be panicking. You will not be shocked, and you will not be taken in by something, which is anything at all. You will be able to maintain your balance. Samadukka. You will be able to, that balance will be there. That is what exactly it is. In mantras number 9 and 10, they talk about those things only, and they have been adduced to the reason how it has been done and all. We have seen 9, we have already seen, just for the purpose of recap only. Na esha tarkena matirapaneya, because by logic, by discussing, trying to convince. See, because we may be discussing, you may have a point of view, I may have a point of view. What is happening in parliament, you see, or what is happening between the parties, or what is happening between the organizations, even between, because well, family, you see, you have got one view, your other members have got a different view. We think, we have argued our best and trying to convince and all. Take it for granted, you will not be able to convince anyone. All of us are born canvassers for our own causes. So we have got, that steadfast, because that is what, what sometimes, you may call it, it is sort of arrogance, or you may call it, it's not arrogance, and you are just subjected yourself to that particular point of view, you are not able to give up. But when you are able to have an open mind, when you are able to have a concern for others, you will be able to experience the other person's point of view. Till then, because I know, I have experience, because you will simply be rejecting it. That rejection will not happen. But even if you have to, because you will try to listen, and maybe, they may have some point of view, valid point of view. You will be able to appreciate, and then you may be able to change your own point of view to a little bit, so that finally, everyone is able to get the best out of that. So that is the openness that comes. Otherwise, we will all be in a cocoon island. A man is an island, because that is a poem says in a very, very famous poem, M. Foster. We'll all be island, we will not be seeing beyond, what is there and all. Unless, that's why people who are in the same location, same city or same place, they will not be able to appreciate, how things are there and all. Whereas people who have traveled a lot, who have worked in other places, who have faced different type of experiences and all, they may be able to appreciate, in the sense, they have been put through the grind. So this is exactly Upanishad pushed through the grind by the experience of the great rishis. When the rishis, they have gone, because they have not simply kept it as they have brought it out and put it in simple words, so that, people are able to take the knowledge from that. That is how, Yama is able to is trying to give. Look, because this is what he is experienced by me. He says, he being a teacher, he says how he has undergone. Mantra number 10 is more towards that only. So what he says, he is taking the cue from the mantra number 7, where he has appreciated Nachiketa. Na esha tatkena matirapaniya prokta anyeneva sugyane preshtaha. Only one who was having a knowledge alone will not help. A person who have experienced, who done the sadhana, who has gone to the highest level of realizing himself, adhyatma, he only will be able to give. Otherwise, he will just be, because we have seen Swayam Dhira Pandita Manyamanaha, we have seen. Otherwise, Damradyamanaha, in the sense, he will be only trying to use it, for his own purposes. Even he be cleverly trying to sort of take you, to a garden path and finally cheat you. This is what will happen. That's why they have already warned, the Upanishad warns, be careful. But unless, you are able to find a person who has really realized, a person realized will not talk much, he will be humble, he will be listening to you, and he will also see, because otherwise he will ask you to come after some time, he will give you some sort of a suggestions, to come after that. So when you are capable enough to understand, then you can be important. That is how it happens. Yam tvam apaha satyadriti vatasi, because he says, you are, steadfast, because he was appreciating Nachiketa, you have not given up anything because you wanted to do it. Twadrangain like you. Na bhuyan Nachiketa prashtaha. Prashtaha in the sense, prakrita ishtaha. You became so sort of a likable student for me. I want everyone in this world to be like that, because then world will be a wonderful place, because you are only developing yourself. Once every person in the world seems to be having a happiness, once you have happiness in the sense, when you feel that you don't have any suffering, you are the equal. Happiness in the sense, you are always, in the sort of a blissful state. Nothing can assail you. Once you do that, and world is a wonderful place. And more people are like that, and more the world will be experiencing more. Otherwise, there will be only a eye for eye, fight for fight, everything, because like it would become a ruthless world. It is already. In order to take that out only, why you to be a participant? You should be a participant in such a world. When you've got a wonderful option that has been given by the Almighty, you have been created, you have been manufactured for that. So why don't you go for the real purpose for which you have been manufactured? You try to do that. You have an sort of, you've got a transcendental existence. The body is one of the things. So when finally in the body has changed, you were a child and you were a young person and you are a senior person, and because when the body goes, you are getting into something else, because you are going to be there forever. This body is in between, is changing. Why are you bothered about it? Once you have that you are permanent and you have got a great things to achieve, you will not be. The world is offering all the intermediary things in the ephemeral things, so you will not be falling for that. That's what they are telling. In the sense, because basically, it's not that you be in discomfort and all. You be comfortable. You use it everything and all. When you see, you always think, when you are thinking, have the concern of others in your scheme of things. Nothing more than that. Have the concern, because so that what happens, you will not be, and you will not be developing a ego also. Ego in the sense, only when you think you only alone can do it, then it's not possible. No person can have that particular view of it. So desire comes, when you think, if you are united with something, you get the happiness. United with a object which you are longing for, a person you are longing for, anything. Even if you unite with the whole world, you will not be happy, because the world will change anytime. Like 2017, 18, what the world was there, in 2020, 21, world was different. So it will all change. You can't be happy in anywhere, because there's no happiness hereafter, once you get certain things done. There is no common denominator. You'll have to go past that. Once you are aware of that, that is what, the Upanishad takes. That's why in the first, we just saw it, sort of a glimpse, the mantra 1.2.10 in your page 47 of the document I have sent. We have seen very, very briefly, Janamiham Shevadir, Shevadir iti Anityam, because, what you are hand, Shevadi is a treasure. Janamiham. Whatever we know in the treasure, is the final the awareness of that you are going to be permanent and you are going to be liberated and there is going to be a blissful existence of yours. That is a treasure. So when the treasure is there, because the normal interpretation of the word anityam is because impermanent. Nityam is permanent, anityam is impermanent. But the interpretation given etymologically is very different. A is akshara. Like Akara Mudra, Eduthallam, Adibhavan, Murti Vilagu, what we referred last week. Likewise, Ha Nityam, in the sense one whose presence makes it permanent bliss. Once you are going towards that Anityam, that is going to be, you'll have to look for that. See, Janamiham Shevadir Anityam Na Hai Druvaihi. Druvaihi in the sense fixed focus. See, when you are having, because I want to learn, see, particular sort of, I want to learn Nalayara Divya Prabandham, or I want to learn, Panchadashi, or anything like that. You focus and on that, because whether it is helpful or not, you will only come to know when you are trying to get into that and trying to get the concepts. Then slowly you will realize there are so many germs are there which you have missed all the while. That is why you should have a fixed focus. Druvaihi. Adhruvaihi in the sense that is Dhruva Nakshatram, when we say Dhruva is fixed. Dhruva Nakshatram will not change its place. The pole star, it's in its place. The world may turn around and all, because it becomes a reference point. Druvaihi, that fixed one. Druvaihi praptehe dhruvam, Druvaihi praptehe adhruvam tat. Because when you are having, then you will be able to get adhruvam. If you are not having a fixed and wavering mind, you will not be able to do that. how we said, fixed wavering mind. It happens because we are into Adhyatma and all, because then after some period of time, you have got so many things, because you got so many responsibilities of clean. We have got only limited responsibility. It is only when we assume it becomes the responsibility which you will have to handle, because then the ego comes, I will have to do that and all. You are not going to do it. Finally, someone is getting it done by you. Okay, you are not having that awareness. So you think, I will have to do everything and all. Then you becomes okay, these are all there. They might have said in the scriptures. What if they have said in the scripture, but I will have to face the world. Why should I be doing it and all? So when you are having a wavering, because then certainly you come back, it's like Sisyphus syndrome. You might have heard, it's a biblical concept, because like you go on a slope, you get up 5 steps, then you will be just coming down by 6 7 steps, because you are climbing a slope. So it is like Sisyphus syndrome. Likewise, when you do every time, Adhyatma, then, you come back, then, it's beyond us, why should be bothered? Anyway, we have got time, we will see that and all. Some people will go to the extent of, our religion says we have got so many births. If not this birth, let me take it in another birth. So that is also could be a reason, because I don't have to do everything in this birth. Let me do it and all. But the very purpose of the existence of him, that is what Ken Upanishad said. Iha cheti vedita, in this birth, in this body, if you are not going to realize, Mahati Vinashti, you are doing a catastrophe, you are wasting the entire thing. But if you know that Satyamasti, you get the highest truth for which you have come in this world, why should you waste it? Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, and Shankaracharya said, because in this body, when you are there, Bhajagovindam, Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudamate. Why are you wasting? Because Mudamate, he said. He gave a very strong word. Why are you wasting that? That is what he said. Likewise, why he has said, in the sense, because you are not understanding that. You think, it is something beyond you, but it is well within your grasp. It is well possible for you, but you are wasting your time and energy, because you are not concentrating on the 99.9% of your being. You are only concentrating on satisfying 0.01% of your being, which is sort of, which you are able to sense and experience everything at all. Because the senses give you that particular experience, the pleasure, happiness, what you presume is there. But actually, every pleasure and happiness, it is like both sides of the coin. There is always a misery and unpleasantness is there already. That we don't see that. We only see the pleasantness and happiness that is there. So I just wanted to quote one very famous incident. It has taken place. It has been quoted also because you might have heard somewhere else and all. So in Srirangam, because when the famous the Ranganatha Swami temple, when some function was going on, very important function. It was during Ramanuja's time. So Ramanuja lived for 120 years, for a long life, and he has seen, and in fact, he was continuously been trying to change the people around him, because there are different variety of people coming in, different variety of thoughts. And so when everything was arranged, people were all, in the sort of a festive mood, because there is a deity is going to be coming out and all. They were all, but finally they saw one person. He's a wrestler. He's a handsome fellow, fine looking, and he was just holding a umbrella. Umbrella is not ours, like a folding type and all. It is that earlier bamboo type, which is being. He was holding the umbrella. He's a very tall guy, very handsome guy, and a wrestler too. So therefore, anyways, there is everyone's attraction was there on him. He was holding that umbrella. He was holding the umbrella for a lady, petite lady, and she was also beautiful looking, because she was just standing there. When everything is in all divine, all people are chanting Vedas and Pasurams and all, they are trying to come. This fellow was standing there like that, and the lady, because this person's name is. Stated as Dhanur Das. Dhanur Das, and he's a big wrestler and a six pack and all those things. That lady was appetite and beautiful looking. Actually, I think at that point of time, and he said, and he was just been when everything was there, he was not looking at that, folding the umbrella and looking at her eyes only, exquisite eyes, bewitching eyes, what they call it in all this. Such a wonderful eyes, and she is perhaps her name is his name had been given as Hemamba. Hemambal was the name of that lady. Perhaps one of the reasons why this name is so popular in Sri Rangam and around. Most of them may be finding this name because this is an actual story which happened, actual incident which happened. So he was just ogling at her and he couldn't take his eyes off. And when everything is divine and people are talking, all reciting all those things, people are coming, and Ramanuja was watching this guy, the handsome guy, and he asked someone to send a word to that fellow and ask him to come. This Dhanurdas was called. Everyone thought, I think now he's going to have, he has lost his shirt and I think he is going to be taken black and blue, and that's what Ramanuja called him. What is that? Why are you holding? And that, in fact, so many things are happening. You are just ogling at that lady, and he said, "How can I take my eyes, Swamiji?" And she's got a wonderful, exquisite eyes, and I just can't. No one else can in this world can take her. She is so beautiful. And then Ramanuja told him, if that is the case, if I show much more beautiful, much more wonderful eyes the universe ever have seen, if I show it, will you be able to give up? Certainly, why not? So that is the challenge he took him. Then he asked Dhanurdas, come that evening. Come that evening, just about, he gave the Arati time, because 7 o'clock, 6:55 is the exact time. Come around that time. In those days, all these electric lamps were not there, because the sanctum, sanctorium and all was dimly lit, only with that this normal, the conventional lamps only. It was then, and it was just, because they have closed, because that puja was there and Ramanuja was there, and this Dhanurdas was brought, 6 footer, with all the handsome, with that same lady, Hemamba. Yeah, he said, I can't come, I can't take my eyes off her. So he came that and all. When, because in all these, he's in Sayanam, Anantasayan, he's there, like Trivandappuram and all, in Ranganatha, it's Anantasayan. Then they were showing Pada, and, because Nobby, and finally when they came to the face, Ramanuja asked him, just don't miss and see those wonderful eyes of Ranganatha and all. He asked him to see the eyes, because he just saw the eyes in a flash. He just couldn't, because he was in a trance. He went into a samadhi. The man, who was just couldn't take the eyes of a petite lady holding the umbrella, and till even when he was coming into the temple, he was just looking at her eyes only, and he was standing there seeing her eyes only. But the moment, the flash of the eyes of Ranganatha was there, he went into a trance and samadhi. Because just before that, the Arati was there, because the Ramanuja just touched him. Please see that. Even he was saying, that is the power, the Guru, because his vibration is there. Even if he has not touched Ramanuja, such a saint, his power is there. That wonderful, because when the Arati is there in such a dim lit sanctum, sanctorium, when the eyes were being flashed through, because the Arati, he just couldn't take the eyes off, and he went into a samadhi, and he almost, of course, he became a sort of a saintly person. Of course, he was with the family. He got married to her. Ramanuja didn't disappoint him. So he got married to her and led a family life. So that means even in a family life, because after seeing that, he understood, what is that. Till then, he couldn't take his eyes off. All of us are like that. We are all Dhanurdas. We couldn't take the eyes of the world, because we have got so much available to us. Till such time when you get into the Adhyatma, once he knows, as Ramanuja has shown the wonderful eyes of Ranganatha to Dhanurdas, once you see that flash, it will only a flash. It's lightning. As we have seen in Kathopanishad, it is just like a minute, not even for a second. Lightning, it will last only that. That's good enough. After that, you will be something, you will get into the similar trance only. Once you get into the trance, you will understand what is the beauty of Adhyatma. This is exactly, because what is being talked about, and this has been actually demonstrated by Ramanuja during his lifetime. And this is the story, that is only popular. Likewise, and the moment, till such time you are able to give someone, take you there, like a guru who is taking you there, understanding you and showing you, and his presence. The vibration is good enough to send you, because that right impetus to get the entrancing yourself into the great enormity of the experience, which is inexplicable, more to be experienced by a person only. So likewise, that's a great occasion like that for us. When you get, how do you get the God realization? Then means, you cannot say yes, I got a real. That may be a moment. Maybe you might have heard something at all, because this is a story I heard actually from a person. I think that too I heard very unusual circumstances in a board meeting. The person is from Orissa, very senior bureaucrat. He is from Orissa. He was sharing his experience. He was, of course, being a bureaucrat, he didn't have to. He was always having the paraphernalia, the people to look after him and all. On one particular occasion, some wild river, in Orissa, when he was going, alone with his family and all. As he was going, suddenly there was a flash floods, and because he was going in a car, and the car was about to be submerged. Somehow he managed to come out of the car and cling to something and all. And then, he didn't know what to do, and he's not used to all adhyatma and all. Being a bureaucrat, he thinks, the entire administration is to take care of him and all. No one was there in the nearby, and as luck would have it, because as he was finding, nothing, because only more water was coming, and suddenly some person came. He said, because then he asked him, because he's a villager, kya sahab aap idhar rahe and all. Then he just took, he was, normally they have a big, the sort of a towel, which is like a dhoti only, such a big one. He asked him to hold it. He just took him, because he knew possibly the route in that. Asked his entire family to cross that river, took him the other side. And the other side, he had some known person in a hut, because he just took them there. Somehow they managed to reach there. Almost they lost there, because the entire hope and all. He took them there and got them some chai and all, asked them to sit in a bench. And he said, because I am going the other side, I will see, someone is there, some sahib is here. Some people will come and pick you up. You don't venture, because the other areas are still much more flooded and all. He went off. He neither told his name, nor he. I think this man in that melee also, he didn't. He couldn't ask his name. He didn't know, and the person to whom he has taken, he also doesn't know him. Who is he? He came and he went off. That's all. He said, and I just couldn't explain, because what is this, because who is that one who came at that point of time, took me here, and neither he told his name, nor I was having the courtesy to ask his name. Even the person where he has taken it, even they don't know him. He is some wayfarer like thing, he came and he went off. That's all. It's a mystical experience. Why, someone should come and help you at that point of time? Who is that? It is nothing but the God realization. Someone has come and helped you at that point of time when you know, because when you are used to so many things and all paraphernalia, when you are left stranded, in that place, how can it happen? So that is only one moment. It will not happen every time in every moment, as you expect, and it will all happen unexpectedly when you are in the dire straits. Someone will come and help you. That is it. Likewise, all of us must have faced, but we may not be sort of bothering to recollect or remember. It is not that it has not happened in our life. It must have happened. At least, because I think, because when you are thankful to everything, whatever has happened to you in your life, certainly you will be thanking, even that you will be sending the gratitude to the person who must have helped in a small way. Maybe you are urgently going somewhere, because your tickets were not, someone helped you to get the last minute ticket. You could go and get the things done. For you, it is a simple thing. But for that, the grace of the God is there. Someone is getting it done for you. Someone is managing to do it for you. You are getting, that is the mysterious experience. If you are not able to look for mystery in your life, you have lost the way towards your adhyatma. There are mysterious experiences every time that is happening. But you are not bothered to recollect, because you think it is a divine right. You come in this world and everyone is there to help you. It is nothing that. The gratitude is the highest form of receivership, and it is taking you to the adhyatma, to take to the ultimate one, who is getting done everything to you as well as getting done everything for you. This is the greatest experience there is. So likewise, there are so many other experiences, because we can narrate. This is where Dhruva fixed. Fixed in the sense when you are trying to express gratitude every time to what has happened to you. Even if I had, because after, because we had the food also when we take, first, we offer, to the god, Chitra, Chitra Gupta, some prokshanam, we said, and finally we take it, Amritoparam, then we take it and all. Finally, after taking the food, what we say, Annadata Sukhi Bhavatu. Annadata, maybe, because your rice might have come from Blinkit or somewhere and all. Doesn't matter. Someone has produced, someone has taken the effort. So you should ask Kesavan, how much effort it takes you to produce 1 quintal of rice. Have you ever realized? And someone has given the water, because he has also got because everyone has to get, he has got the fertilizer, he has to put the inputs. For me, it's a Blinkit, you order, it comes, and Zomato or Swiggy, they give it and all. It doesn't matter, but you have to be grateful. Something is happening, because when you don't get your morning packet of milk, even by an hour, you get so, but there are people working day and night. Finally, it comes to you as milk. Likewise, every day our existence, we will have to be thankful to the Almighty. When you don't think, because it is all, when you don't thank the Almighty, why do you expect others will have to thank about you or think about you? You do not have any right to expect that. This is exactly when it does, the humility comes. The humility comes when, for me to survive and experience the world every day, so many people are working. I have to be grateful to both of them, known and unknown. Then the humility comes. It's not me alone, my own volition I am remaining. So many people are helping me. This is exactly, it brings Dhruvaihi, and that is the God realization. Once you express the gratitude, so because God will have to give them everything good. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu, in the sense not only for you, the man who produces the rice in far off field somewhere, and the man who takes the milk and brings it to you and puts it in a place and comes to you somewhere. And because even when you want a medicine, some pharmaceuticals is producing and he's bringing it, everyone, moment, there is no way, you cannot be ungrateful. You have to experience. I think if you are not able to express gratitude even for a minute, you are nobody. That's why Madhvacharya said, because even the lizard in your house, when it is giving that sound, it is telling what a great wonderful creation of this world by the God. Everyone is giving you and you are not expressing the gratitude. And finally, the gratitude to the Almighty, who has made everything possible for you, who is bringing everything for you, whatever circumstances you are. You may be disappointed, you may be happy because you have thought, you got a goal and all, but you don't know who has made all these things possible. Whatever little you are there, what we deserve, we have got much more than what we deserve, that we don't realize. Once you have that feeling, God has given not only this, because I think these are all beyond what I should be deserving. Once you have that, you will have that. That is why the God awareness should be always there. The God awareness is always there. It's not that you go on doing, because I think you be thankful every minute. So thankful to the people in front of you. I think through them you are expressing your gratitude to the God. This is exactly Janamiham Sheva, because it's a treasure, he says. It's all treasure. Why so many people are working to give it to you? It is a treasure. He has given it. Anityam na ha adhruvaihi prapyatehi dhruvam adhruvam tat. Because if you are wavering and then you are not able to get through, you are ungrateful and nothing. Why? Because you will be wasting your time. Okay, you will not be able to, if you are ungrateful, you don't have any receivership. If you don't express the gratitude, you don't have any receivership. You have to be thankful even to your child. You have to be thankful to your grandson or grandchild. Even they are a few months old baby, they are making you smile. They don't expect you anything in return from you. And by the presence of their smile, because they don't, without reason, they are giving offering smile to you. What are you doing? But only you are in your mental condition to think, I am not happy and I have got this to be done and all. Lose yourself into that. Lose yourself in the front of the children. Just give it up yourself. Likewise, when you are losing to the children, likewise you lose it to those people who have done everything. Finally, the person, the Parabrahma, Paramatma, who has given everything to you, you lose yourself to that. That is the awareness. Like Dhanurdas, don't lose yourself to the bewitching and the exquisite eyes, because there is bewitching, exquisite eyes of the Paramatma, which is looking after you every minute and looking after you, chattering with you and guiding you every minute. Once you are aware of that, that is the final Adhyatmana. That is what Tato Maya Nachiketa. Nachikesto Atho Agnihi. Nachiketas Chita Agnihi. Because that is how, that is the Nachiketa. Once you are having the constant, that awareness of the God, the gratitude, once you are expressing, that is the Nachiketa. That's what, last week I explained, in philosophical terms. Aha is the word. Aha iti Brahmaha. That's what, the God has said in Taittiriya Upanishad. Aham, because what we call Aham, because of his presence, give you the life energy, the 99.9 point energy, you are able to claim, I am so and so. Who are you? I am son of so and so. How do you know you are son of so and so? You have been told. And then I am so and so, because how you have been given a name, that's why you got a name and form. Otherwise you are nobody. Like a God, when the vehicle comes out of the entire, this one they don't have a number. The number plate is given, after it is being registered. Till such time they are only the vehicles from the production line. It comes. But every vehicle has been given, what they are supposed to be, how they are due. It has been given. Some vehicles are given, because depending upon the model, depending upon the class it is, the things are fitted. Likewise, we are also given, whatever we deserve. We are all coming with that. So now we are able to get it, and once we get it, be thankful. It has happened. Now let me utilize this opportunity. By what that happened, by expressing gratitude and other things, you will be kind, compassionate, karunya. That is tapas. When you are kind and compassionate and helpful to everyone, that is the tapas in this world. And then, because that is anityai adravyaihi praptam va asmin anityam, in the sense, because adravyaihi, in the dravyaihi, what they say is, all the senses what you are having is dravyaihi. Adravyaihi, in the sense, they are all God given. Is the Akshara, he has given that. All this dravya will have to take you to that. This is what Sarira Mimamchikam Visishtadvaita said. This entire body is given in his Kaikarya. In the sense, it belongs to him. You will have to do that. So I think Adravyahi, because when the senses are being taken out and you are only, see, they are instrument, they have been given. Finally, they are supposed to be expressing the gratitude and offer to the Almighty Paramatma as well as his creation. Dasanadasa, you, others also. Dhanajanasya sushrushu karma, in the sense helping others. You will be helping your family is the first step, so that you are able to, that selfishness goes off in sharing with the family. And then people around, that is still, the entire, the circumference expands. And then the ring expands, the circle expands wide when you take the state, nation, everything and all. And nothing belongs to you. So you will have to be grateful for everything, because whatever you have got, family, wealth, everything and all is God given. So then once you have that, then nothing is praptyo asmi nityam. This is exactly this mantra said. So this basically we expanded, why, because three things are required when we to express the gratitude. One is, you should really feel that. How do you feel? See, jnana is good. Jnana without bhakti is useless. That's what, we have seen. That is what, Bhajagovindam, when it is said, jnana without bhakti, Bhajagovindam, in Bhajagovindam, it is jnana is good. That is what Advaita says, you just, but no, it's not that. You should have bhakti. How bhakti will be there? Love. Love is being, how do you love and all, because this is, if you see the Pasurams, as well as, if you see the, our entire literature, everywhere it is there, in Sanskrit and all. So I am reminded of one particular, this one, Trignana Sambandhar, Mundram Tirumurai. He says, what is bhakti? Kadalahi Kasind Kadalahi in the sense divine. See, you are totally in a kasinde in the sense you are just being melted. As Dhanutas was melted by the eyes of that Hemamba, you just melted, by reminding how grateful he is. He's looking after me. I did so many things. Because whatever we are doing is not always right. We have done so many things, which is not acceptable by moral code of conduct and even by ethics. It could have been because knowingly, unknowingly we might have done. That is what Bodha, because they said because because you do a lot of mistakes in this world. So all those things, he's saying, Kadalaki Kasindu Kannir Malhi. From the eyes, because as it flows, because when you are in the highest form of bliss, overflow of ananda, when it comes, you are just, because your eyes swell and the tears roll down. And the eyes swell, it's like from the Hridaya Kamala. So because your heart come out, because in such a compassion, because you don't have anything of yours, you lose it to that. Kadanahi, Kandirmalhi, Kasindu, Oduar Tamai, Uivika. See, because that is, once you go to that state, then he takes you out. Then when finally, because Vedam Nadan Namam Namachivai, because Vedam, Pratipadya of the entire Veda is he. Once you are expressing so much of a love, that is the bhakti. And even if you don't know the scriptures, if you don't know anything at all, doesn't matter. Why? What about Tirukachinambigal? Tirukachinambigal is not a great scholar. He is a simple person, totally surrendered. That is the bhakti. That bhakti is love with bhakti. The karunya and the lila vibhuti, when they say, when you are able to totally offer everything and all, in the sense you know nothing is yours. Ishavasham idagam sarvam is nothing is yours. How do you think, it is mine and it is that and all? The moment, till such time I am here, then I sign my papers and I am here. The moment, I am not here, it's not mine. It is he who has brought it and he knows where it has to go. I don't have to bother. Likewise, once you have that, you will be able to get that highest wisdom. This is what he says, Yama's attainment. I got it through. Yeah, Yama says, I got it through all these things because I went through the entire process. Finally, he has been given the job of looking after the entire. Yama has been given the role of Antakaha and Dharmaraja. He's the one who is looking after the entire thing. He does it and he is experiencing. A guru is telling how he has got through to that. The greatest experience when a guru is telling to the disciple, he just shows how much love and affection he is having towards his disciple. Telling that, then he is going to, because these are all the things I have done, I got through. It took a lot of effort of me to adrivyahi, because the take me senses and offering it to the person, to whom it deserves. And finally, I got through to this. And whereas you have gone beyond my estimation, even what I have done is nothing in front of what you have done. That's what he is telling Nachiketa. Can you express, can any boss, be appreciating his subordinate like that? I am nothing in front of you. You have done so well. That only possible in some scientific community. But not, in the day-to-day world, because scientific community, they appreciate, the really accomplishments. That too, when they don't have any sort of a rivalry and all. Otherwise, it's not happening there also. Because there the human qualities come in. The human qualities want to slip down. Sisyphus syndrome. Even if you want to go up, because of someone's words and someone's attitude, you come down. It takes you out of that. Here he is appreciating Nachiketa. Nachiketa, when he is appreciating, then he is appreciating with a purpose. He has not forgotten the third sort of vara what he has given. He is still not given it up, but he is creating all these things. He makes Nachiketa himself to get the biggest boom of the answer to the third vara. That is what we will see, because it will again be a mysterious experience we will be going through. Today I will try to complete the session with this, because the next mantra is very important. Perhaps I will have to take the whole class, the full session next week. Sahana bhavatu, Sahanau Bunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadidamastu ma Vishvidavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Now we will have a meditation. Meditation is Sauropanishad, we call it. Sauropanishad is nothing but Surya Upanishad. There is nothing called Surya Upanishad, Mahasaura Upanishad. Even if Aditya Hridayam, whatever is being recited is also something like a Surya Upanishad only. Today we are going to have the Surya Upanishad. It is in the Rig Veda. The very purpose of having this Surya Upanishad is like finally, because Hiranmayena Patrena Satyasya Apihitam Mukam, because the entire golden orb of the sun is covering the greatest power, which is giving the life to this entire Paramatmaism. He is behind that. He is giving the power to even to sun. Once you pray to him, you will be getting into the divine knowledge, to realize him, as well as in this world, all your ignorance will be dispelled. As sun is dispelling the darkness in the morning, it will be dispelled. And after it is dispelling, not only that, it has got the material benefit in terms of if you have any skin problems or if you have any sort of breathing problems or any other problems, it will all be removed, and he gives you the enough energy to, because by hearing this itself, they say the vitamin D12, one important component they say, which is root cause of a lot of affliction, will be sort of taken out. Of course, you should also try to go out and pray to the sun when the day is there. So he will give you further into that. We will go into that particular meditation immediately after this. I will just go for that. Just give me a minute, I will take.